This is a song for my friends Jaret and Gary. They started a podcast and said a theme was necessary. They're just a couple of guys in a band that you know. Some rockstar dads who started a show. So here's the next episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Rockstar Dad Show. It's me, Jaret, your good friend Gary here from the band Bowling for Soup and from the Rockstar Dad Show, which has been going on almost a quarter of the time that our band's been together.
That's weird.
It is weird. When you like, do you do that? Like line stuff up and percentages and stuff? You're probably not as scared of death as me, right? Do you sit around and worry about dying and shit?
I mean, you know, in the past few years, I've definitely honed in my skill of anxiety. So sure, I have concerns.
Yeah, I just don't want to miss anything. That's the big thing, you know. Like I'm just like, man, I don't want to miss stuff. You know, like
Yeah.
I just feel like if we're all watching, you know, from the sky or whatever, it's so many people watching. Like, how do you get a good seat? You know, like I don't know how that's gonna work.
Your fear of death is a FOMO.
Yeah, it's a FOMO, and it's also, and here's the other thing. I want to be able to look down on people and, like, you know, be there for them and shit, but I don't want to watch everything they do. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't need to see, you know, my son shitting his pants as a grandfather for the first time. You know, which is gonna happen. You know, people shit their pants. It's a well-known fact that sometimes poop comes out in your drawers
When you're not planning on it.
when you're not planning on it. And, you know, I have experienced that probably more than most adults because I have ulcerative colitis, and not so much in the past years because I'm in remission. But when I was a youngster, there was a lot of pant pooping. Young adult, a lot of pooping of the pants happened.
So there's got to be a lot of like personal growth happening through that.
Man.
You know.
You know, it's funny because we talk about this. We haven't had to talk about this in quite a while, I don't think. But when you're in a touring band, you do get yourself into a lot of situations where you have to just leave your dignity at the door. You know, like you have to use the restroom in a certain place, or you're sleeping in a certain place, or you haven't showered in a certain amount of time, or there's many things where life just doesn't throw you a convenient way to take care of yourself in a normal way.
I think most people can relate to, like, you know, unfortunate bathrooms. Like, you know, you've been driving across the state and need to stop, and the only place is a shitty convenience store, and you get there and you're like, I don't want to use this restroom, and either you have to or you keep on going, right?
Yeah.
I think people can relate to that. I think there's few people that understand I need to take a shower, and you see the shower and you're like, I'm not sure if I'll come out of that shower dirtier than I am right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to push it another day.
Yeah. And I mean, and there's, you know, several instances of that. I mean, quite frankly, in other countries, it used to be rampant, but it's gotten better. But it still exists everywhere, you know, like there's just it's the gross shower curtain, you know, that, like, and, you know, just honestly, I think sometimes just we sit, you know, like it's funny how that doesn't even enter our minds anymore, you know.
It does mine. I mean, there's, you know, depending on how nice our bus is, there's definitely days that I walk into the dressing room and I'm like, yeah, I'd rather hang out in the bus than sit on that couch.
It does happen. I watched it happen to you. I'll tell you when it was. It happened the first day of Canada. Yeah. You walked back in the dressing room, and there were places to sit, but, like, the couch was leather, but, like, had the leather stripped off of it. And I watched you, and you found a chair over in the corner, and you sat there. And then I just watched you sort of, like, try and, like, navigate. Okay, am I staying in here, or am I getting the hell out of here? And but we had a decent bathroom that day, which was nice. I mean, I felt so rewarded about that dressing room, simply because Dave hadn't discovered it yet. And he Dave had just gone into the club and just walked around and didn't see a dressing room, right? He hadn't asked anybody or anything. So he comes back and tells us, hey, there's no dressing room. The bus is our dressing room today. Now, we've been traveling for 36 hours or so, and of course had to get into the country of Canada and get to where we were going and all of that stuff. And it would have been nice to have had a place to spread out a little bit. And so I was a little bit bummed out. But then I go in and I'm going to the public bathroom, and Ido, our sound guy, just goes, "Oh, you looking for a place to go poop?" And I go, "Yes." It's literally the only reason I come into the venue this early. And he goes, "Up the stairs, big dressing room up there, you know." And so I was bound and determined to make that fucking dressing room happen.
Yeah. It's funny how Dave sometimes doesn't find dressing rooms.
Yeah.
And do you remember back to like whenever Dave first started TMing, and we were going to places that we've played 100 times, but now he was TMing and he'd be like, dressing rooms here. And we're like, dude, we've been here before. We know. Wait, you picked the wrong dressing room.
Yeah.
We're in the wrong spot. We've been here 20 times. You know, the one down the hall is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah. He still on occasion will pick a dressing room for a reason that I don't quite understand. Like he gives the supports a dressing room, and I'm just like, why are we not in that room? Well, this one has a place for everybody to put their bags or something. And it's just like, yeah, but that one has a place to sit, you know? And
that one has a big TV and a bathroom and a shower.
Yeah. Why are we in there? Oh, I didn't want y'all to have to go up the stairs. Well, fuck that. I mean, like, have you seen that? It looked that they're stoked up there. They're throwing a freaking party. They're jumping for joy up those stairs right now. And we're down here in this little cave. It is funny how we've gone to venues that like didn't let us use the dressing rooms before. Like we're just not like to that caliber yet. They just don't want to clean them. So I ran into that at when Jeremy Popoff owned the place that he had in Fullerton, California.
Yeah.
Slide bar. And I was playing acoustic, and no. Yes, I was playing like an acoustic thing. And but I had Linus backing me up because on the LA shows, this is the first time I had done the Heartache and Hilarity thing in this country. And so Linus came with me on the California shows, and Scott played in LA. And anyway, we show up to this place, and we hadn't sold a whole lot of tickets. And so the guy that we were talking to was like, yeah, there's no dressing room. And we're just like, okay, yeah, you know, that's fucking weird because y'all have bands here all the time, but all right. And then Jeremy shows up, at the owner at the time, and he goes, "Do you see the dressing room, man? It's badass. I just redid it." And I'm like, "No, guy told me there wasn't one. What the fuck?" And follow him. And it's like one of the coolest dressing rooms I've ever seen in my life. And he just didn't want to have it cleaned.
Yeah.
He didn't want us to go in there if there's only going to be, 30 people at the show.
Right.
We didn't deserve it.
That sucks.
Which sucks, man. Like, I think you should just, this is what I bought this show. This is what comes with it.
You know, there's so many different mentalities, right? Because then we've also played the places where, where we may only have, 50 or 100 people show up, but they're like, we have an apartment in the back with beds and y'all can do laundry and it's awesome.
Yeah.
Some places just want to take care of you. They understand you're out on tour and you're not at home and you just want a place to sit down and be comfortable some of the time.
It's true. And I get it, man. I get it's, when they're badass like that is when someone's wife is involved, like every fucking time.
Yeah. There's potpourri in there.
Yeah. Well, it's like when Clint first redid the Bomb Factory here in Dallas, and he was newly married, right? Or newly had that chick or whatever. They're still together. So I don't know, but I don't know if they're married. None of this matters. Anyway, you went in there and like everybody got gift bags and shit. You got socks and there was potpourri everywhere. And like you had, everybody got like you had Tide in your bag.
Yeah. I mean, there's a laundry machine there. So hey, here's some Tide in case you need to do laundry.
Man, that just goes to show you, like, I feel like girls just fucking have shit figured out, man. It's and you got to think about that gift bag when we were there. And it's in all seriousness, there was no tithe in there. It was like you got a pair of socks, hand sanitizer, some Alka-Seltzer, some Advil. Like it was just all really thoughtful shit that you would need having just played a venue and being on the road,
Yeah, there's a brand new clean t-shirt in there.
Yeah, and that cost $5. Like if you bought all that stuff and just made a bunch of them, right? But man, to us, that kind of shit is just, I mean, it might as well be $300, because it's just so much the thought that goes into it,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and there's all that space there to spread out, and they've put video games, and there's like basketball hoops, and there's all this stuff, and we don't even use any of it, but it's so nice that it's there.
I always feel weird when we go to the places that have beds. Because I always feel like, well, I don't want to lay there because I know I'm not going to sleep there. So I don't want to like dirty it up and then have to change the sheets and shit. But like there are definitely places where we go, like you said, and they have the beds. Like that place in Lubbock is badass. And more I'm seeing these places on the country. So, well, that place is a country bar. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So more and more, like I'm seeing these places, like the place we play in Fort Collins, Sundance Steakhouse is like that. They have this whole room with 2 bedrooms with bunk beds and shit. You can ask to stay there, and then you just leave the next day out the back door, like we used to in San Angelo.
Yeah.
And but there's that place that I was telling you called the Do-Si Do. When you go, they don't fucking let you stay there. They want you the fuck out of there as soon as your set is over. But while you're chilling that day, there's 2 bedrooms and it's like made up like your grandma's house and shit. Like it's like there's like a pillow on top of the pillow that you're not supposed to lay on.
So your pillow has a pillow.
Yeah, your pillow. Well, something is laying on your pillow that looks like a pillow, but technically you put it on the floor and then you
I'm confused.
You don't know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I don't know either. Man, it's good to be back doing the show. I am excited. By the time you guys hear this will have already happened, but this next weekend. No, it's this coming weekend, actually. Holy shit, we're back on schedule, Gary.
Yeah.
This weekend, we're driving to Clovis, New Mexico. Nope, I'm wrong. It just happened. We just got back from Clovis, New Mexico. And boy, did we have a great time.
It was awesome. We were so good.
Yeah. What else do we have coming up, in the coming months? I got to tell you, did I tell you about, because I know you got a story for me, but we're going to have to take a break in a minute. Did I tell you that about my son's week? On the last episode where he had like the best week ever?
I don't think you filled me in on all of it. You told me that he made the drumline cut.
He made
the percussion cut.
Made the percussion cut. Then he got both of the stripes needed to finally complete his black belt test. And then I got him VIP tickets to a concert that he is going to go to. Well, he just went to, but anyway. And it's the second time I've got him tickets to go see his favorite artist at the time. So this is his favorite artist now. Actually, Less Than Jake is his favorite band, but he goes back and forth between artists, and so he's going to see for the second time his favorite artist of the time, and so he's excited about that. But man, and then so here's the other thing, Jack has decided he wants to get his sleeve tattoo.
Does he told you what he wants to get?
Yeah, so he did this whole thing. I guess you can mock up a fake tattoo on a picture of yourself now.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
I mean, it looks real. It's crazy. But anyway, he sent me kind of what he wants. And I was like, oh, I know exactly who should do this. And of course, he's a kid. He's 18. He's just like, I'd like to get it August 11th. And I'm like, well, that's not how any of this works. I'm just like, you'll get it when this guy says you'll get it. And he's like, well, yeah, I'm going to have somebody draw it out. Nope, that's not how it works either. He will draw it And but it's fucking adorable. And so he has a decision to make, and he's having trouble making the decision. So we're gonna give him the first sitting as his present, but we're like, hey,
What present? Graduation?
graduation. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you for that rescue. Graduation, because he graduated in December, but we haven't given him his gift yet because we haven't celebrated it. And he walks the stage here in a few weeks. But
Okay.
then we have a party for Emma, and we invite the usual peeps, like the family that's close to here, and our family friends, and you know how it is.
Yeah.
And she got several gifts, and but we spent quite a bit of money on the party, even though it was at this house. And so we said, if you want to forego the party, we'll do the second sitting too. And of course, he's being smart, and I agree with this. He's like, yeah, but like I probably would get a bunch of gifts. And I said, we could do the thing where we send out announcements. And he's like, yeah, but is that okay to do? Like, that seems weird. And I'm like, no, people send out announcements all the time. And so I'm like, you can have the party, and we'll pay for the first 2 sittings. I think it's going to take him 4.
Yeah.
And
it's unlikely to just go in and get your full sleeve done. That is insane.
Yeah, that honestly, the only people that can do that is like Dak Prescott, where they put you to sleep and have 3 guys work on you, and you just wake up and you have a sleeve tattoo, and then you're recovered from it in 2 weeks, and you go throw the football.
Yeah, but remember, even like Chris, he didn't do it all in one sitting, but he did it all in like a week, and like he was sick for like a month. Like it messes with your immune system.
Yeah, there's a lot goes into that. Yeah, that's true. But they've got it down pretty good now to where, and he's got tiny arms.
Sure.
He's only 18, so he's lean. And so I think maybe 4, maybe 6. It depends, because this guy that he will go to can do fairly big pieces in a day. But yeah, I'm excited about that. And then in other news, my daughter, who is 21, had to get her I had to send her medical information because her pediatrician broke up with her. They're growing up, Gary.
Was a pediatrician like, you need to go get a real doctor?
Yeah. That's it. And what's weird, that's so weird, because Casey saw her pediatrician until she was like 24 or 25. And then finally she was like, yeah, you're going to have to go actually see a real doctor there.
That's so funny. I mean, I can't imagine that. Like, I understand, like, I went to my dentist for a long time, and I guess it was mostly a kid's dentist, but there were adults that went there. But like, I'm just thinking, whenever I take my kids to the pediatrician, it's just such a kids doctor place,
Right.
Like everything's shorter, and just the paintings on the wall, and like there's the part of the office when you go to check in where it's like, if you're sick, go over here, because kids are always sick, right?
Yeah.
And like when you go to an adult doctor, it's just, you go to the waiting room, it looks like a office suite.
Yeah, I mean, their pediatrician is sort of half and half. Like, it's got the older kids anyway. Everett just goes to the doctor. Oh no, that's not true. Since we since we started on a certain regiment, he goes to a pediatrician here. And you're right, but it's less like fish tanky, like it's.
Yeah.
I don't think there's like zoos on the wall and shit. But I think that's just one of those things, right? It's just weird that you go through this time in your life where, because we didn't have that. Like, for me, when I was a kid, we just went to the same dentist my parents went to, and we went to the same doctor my parents went to. Like, we didn't have, which is probably why at one point, like, the doctor told my mom that I needed to see a specialist because my testicles hadn't dropped at 12. And the doctor, so we go to see the specialist, and he's just like, yeah, sometimes they don't drop until they're 13 or so. It's perfectly normal. Here's a bill,
Yeah, exactly.
God damn it. Like, and of course I I'm me, and I was already me at that age, as you can imagine.
Sure.
And so I'm telling everybody, that, well, yeah, I had to go to the doctor and my testicles haven't dropped yet, apparently. And, it's like, I'm just I'm like asking people, have your testicles dropped? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what is up with you?
Yeah. Why are you just telling us personal stuff about you?
It's so funny to think back to little Jaret, because I was the first one to, like, out of any of my friends, to just be like, okay, guys, let's discuss masturbating. And they'd be, whoa, I don't do that crap. Well, yes, you do. And today we're going to get it out of you.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure this out. You're always kind of like, let's be open and honest about this shit, but like you're doing it in a funny manner. It's getting people to laugh and right. But like, it's funny that you talk about how open and honest about the stuff that Everett is, but I think he's just more of like, this generation has been, therapy. I don't know what the right word is, but like, he's like, that hurt my feelings. I just don't like the way that I feel, like. And
he's like that about stuff that I won't talk about on the show because, we have our agreement to not really embarrass our kids. But he says some stuff sometimes about like development. You're just like, holy shit, I can't, he just is really good at just saying exactly how he feels. It's like when he would go to timeout and he would be like, I just want you to know that when I'm in timeout, I feel like you're never coming back and I feel alone emotionally. And you're like, oh my God.
Yeah. I've never had that mature of a thought in my life.
Yeah, it's so funny, man. Well, you know what? Let's take a break, and when we come back, let's hear what you got going on over there at the Wiseman house.
Yeah.
And we'll be right. Hey, you guys listen to this, and we'll be right back with more Rockstar Dad Show. Welcome back to the Rockstar Dad Show. Don't forget, we are on every Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Adobe Radio, which is your favorite internet radio station. Just go to Adobe something.
It's a com.
I think it's a com, right?
It's a com, yeah.
.com. Let's see. Yep, go to adobe.com and you'll see us on there. Or you can listen on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern or wherever you listen to podcasts right after that. I got out of breath. I ran, I wouldn't say I ran. I walked briskly.
You didn't go do stairs though.
No, I didn't.
You're just in a hurry.
I was in a hurry. The whole having to go down the stairs to get water thing lasted about 3 months of being in this house. Because I drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
And so I have a water cooler outside the door of this place, and I use the shit out of it.
I don't have the water cooler, but back in the COVID times, whenever we were all locked in our houses and we were doing the BFS live streams, Rob got a mini fridge in his basement.
Yeah.
And I was jealous as fuck out of that. So I immediately ordered one off Amazon and got the mini fridge in the office.
See, there you go. Yeah. I've had a refrigerator in the studio forever because I had when I was still like writing for other shit, I had people coming in and out of here all the time. I don't really anymore. Not very often, and then we don't do the other podcast either. So, and you don't come in here. So I'm just in here by myself a lot.
The times sure have changed.
Man, they really have changed a lot. Dude, well, what's going on with you, man?
All right, man. So I'm going to tell you a little setup story, okay? And then I'll see what you would have done, and then I'll tell you what I did, okay?
All right, I'm ready.
So last Friday after school, Tyler has a baseball game, and his school doesn't get out till 4:30. And then baseball game starts at 6, and warm-ups are 5, right? So he doesn't get out till 5:30. He's wearing his school clothes. I have to be like right at the front of line to pick him up. We rush to Wendy's. I get him a snack. He goes in the bathroom, puts on his uniform. We rush over to the baseball fields. He gets there like just in time, usually a little bit late to actually start warming up. So that's what's going on this day. While we're at Wendy's, I get a phone call. Of course I don't answer it. Who answers the phone, right?
Not me.
But then I checked the voicemail because they left a voicemail, and that's pretty rare. And it was one of his teachers.
Okay.
And the message was very accusatory and very snooty and just rubbed me extremely the wrong way.
Mhm.
And here's the message. And it's from a teacher too, that like at Meet the Teacher, I was like, she doesn't really seem like she knows what's going on. But the message was this: Mr. Wiseman, there was an incident today at school. And that's like the tone, right?
Okay.
And Tyler was playing with a basketball in class. This is his English teacher. Tyler was playing with a basketball in class, and I had to take it away from him. And at the end of the class, when I gave it back to him, he left, and he didn't have the honesty to tell me that it was not his ball. And I've got another student here that's very upset that he took his property. And we went to the bus line, and we were looking for him. And I don't know how he got home, but anyways, he needs to be at my room at 8 a.m. on Monday with the basketball in hand. I've called your wife and left her a message too. And I'm sending you an email to confirm you got this, right? That's the message. And that's the tone. That's the tone and everything.
Okay.
Knowing the situation, where we are, what time it is, message, everything. I'm going to throw it to you. How do you handle that?
First of all, I don't say anything to Tyler about it yet. I let him carry on with his night. And then first thing is I just want to know, okay, what is the story of this thing from you? Like, what happened? So I assume you asked him about it.
So far, you're exactly right on track is what I did. I'm like, I'm not screwing up this baseball game.
No.
His mindset over what I don't know is going on. And from the message, I'm like, that doesn't sound like Tyler. I know him. He's not a troublemaker. He's an honest kid. Really rubbed me the wrong way that she's like, he didn't have the honesty to tell me the truth,
Yeah, but I'm super confused. So is she accusing him of pretending the basketball is his and then taking it from her? And
that's what the message sounds like, and whatever. So you're exactly right. I don't say anything. I call Anik actually as soon as we get to the baseball game, and because she's not there yet, and I'm like, hey, I don't know if you've got this message. Don't say anything to T yet. Like she's not going to talk to him before the game, but I'm like, after the game, we're going to like a team event. I'm like, just let's let this shit go till we get home. We don't need to mess up with any of this, right?
Yeah.
And so then later that night on the way home, I did exactly what you said. I was like, hey man, what's the story with this basketball thing today? And he's like, huh? What do you mean? I'm like, well, was there some incident in English class today with a basketball? And he's like, oh yeah. And so here's his story. There was another kid playing with a basketball in class. The teacher asked that kid to stand up and bring it to the front of class and give it to her. And then at the end of class, the teacher gave it to Tyler when he was walking out the door. And he was confused. And rather than explaining the situation of, hey, this isn't my ball, he just took it and left the class to go find that kid in the hallway and give it to him.
Right.
That kid was already gone. And so Tyler gave it to that kid's best friend to give it to him.
Yep. So that is exactly what I assumed Tyler was going to do with the basketball.
That's pretty much what I figured. I had a couple other scenarios that it could have been, but that's pretty close to what I figured.
So my thing was I would write a very passive-aggressive note back to the teacher saying, well, first of all, you didn't take it away from Tyler. And when you gave it to Tyler, he was under the assumption that the other kid was already out of the class and you wanted him to give it. So I don't appreciate you, using the word dishonest when talking about my child, when I don't know that you've seen any other examples of this. And this certainly isn't one. Anyway, I would probably do everything I could to make her feel, I guess that's, I probably wouldn't be super nice.
That's pretty spot on to what I did. I think you basically wrote my email. The only difference I would say is I also added in like a, hey, everyone in my family is in education. I respect what you do. I'm not one of the parents that's going to defend my kid no matter what. If he did take someone else's property and if his facts aren't correct, he's going to be in more trouble at home than he is at school. Yeah. And then I go, that being said, I feel that you owe him an apology for attacking his credibility 100%. And calling him dishonest.
Yeah. No, I 100%. That's That's exactly what I would have done.
Cool. And I also said, we will not be at your office at 8 a.m. Like, he doesn't have to be to school till 9. We ain't doing that shit.
Yeah, exactly. You can let the kid know that you gave the ball to the wrong kid.
Yeah.
And you apologize to that kid.
100%.
Yeah.
But, by this time the kid already had the ball and she's moved on. The only response I got back from her was still not taking any responsibility and not putting any responsibility where it should have been. But her response was, I'm glad that he got the ball to whatever. The office says that, oh yeah, I also didn't like, sorry, I'm going to back up here. I also didn't like her accusatory tone of like him not being in the bus line and she doesn't know how he got home. I'm like, are you trying to say he's a troublemaker or something? Like he's skipping school. I pick him up from line every day.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I gave her some shit over that in the email too. But her response was, well, the office has that he's a bus rider. And I'm glad that he returned the ball to its rightful owner. This all could have been avoided had he just told me the truth. And I'm like, fuck this bitch, man. Like,
holy shit. No, I fucking hate it now.
Yeah. And so at this point, I'm like, fuck this bitch. I'm not going to get in a pissing match over this. It's all said and done. Right. But the correct response should be, I'm sorry that, you're right. I didn't take it away from him, or, thank Tyler for getting it to who it should have gotten to. Not, it could have all been avoided had she handed it to the proper kid. Also, it could have been avoided had the kid not been playing with the frickin' basketball in English class. Like, none of this is Tyler's issue.
None of it. No, none of it. And I get, God damn it. That's right. The fact that she even used the word told, or used the words, if he had told the truth, points right back again to like trying to make it to where Tyler was dishonest about anything.
Yeah, back in the email where I'm saying you basically wrote it for me, I basically said, he was confused when you gave it to him, and he's a man of few words. Rather than gumming up the situation, he streamlined it and went to give it to who it was. I'll give you an example of Tyler's personality, and this, but the listener may not.
Yeah.
Yesterday was STAR test, the standard test. You sit in front of a computer screen for 4 hours, and they always tell you, bring snacks, have a good breakfast, all that shit, right? So yesterday for a snack, he doesn't want any snacks. He's just like, I want some Jolly Ranchers. And so his mom was packing him up a bag, and she's like, do you want gum also? And he just goes, yeah. He did not want gum. He just knows it's easier to say yes than to go no, and her go, you sure you don't want gum?
Right.
And him go, no. Well, last year you had gum. No.
Yeah.
See, he understands.
Sure.
The streamline the process, get to the end. Like, this lady handed him a ball. He was confused, but he knew whose ball it was. Exactly. That's not dishonesty.
No, definitely not. I mean, there's no dishonesty. And I mean, honestly, it's not his fucking job to even be dealing with the basketball, and for her to not even know which kid she took it away from. Again, I'm pro teacher, that, and not your family's in education, like, and all that. So, I mean, whatever. I get it, man. She got confused, but dude, laugh this situation off and be like, oh man, what? It was the end of the day. I was, whatever, or don't say anything. Just go, oh crap. Well, okay. Well, hey, sorry for the confusion. Done.
I think the whole thing started off though with a wrong tone, an unprofessional tone, right?
Yeah.
I'm at home. I don't know what the crap is going on. Don't call me with this accusatory tone that my kid did something, especially if it's not like the problem kid that's in trouble all the time. It's the first time she's ever had an issue, right? The message should have been, hey, Mr. Wiseman, there was an incident and some confusion today in class with the basketball. Could you please give me a call? Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the message.
Right. Yeah. Yes. I think that is a good message too. I mean, again, at least she took she didn't. The good news about her not doing that is you didn't have to talk to her on the phone. But
well, and had she hit me on the phone with that attitude, it probably would have been a less productive conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I will say I did have to rewrite that email about 4 times before I was cooled down enough to actually send it.
Yeah, I'm in therapy and always, and my new trick and God, it works so much. It's like the coolest thing I've ever been taught, and it's so simple. But it's not my psychiatrist; it's my therapist, like counselor, and he just taught me this is just like as you do things and as you say things, as is this useful?
Yeah.
And it's something that it's really helped me in my responding to social media things. Like if somebody's just being an idiot and I just want to bash their head in, social media wise. And every once in a while it gets away from me and I'll respond to somebody, and then I'm pretty good about reeling it back in now. And this is it useful thing it's so great because I will write these messages or I'll write the email a certain way and then I just erase it, and because it's like, it didn't even make me, it's like, did it feel better? In situations where it's my children though, it's something like that, where it's like, you're advocating for them. And, a lot of times Tyler's probably a lot like, because Tyler is quiet, he won't always advocate for himself.
Yeah.
Everett's really bad about advocating for himself. And so, whereas Jack and Emma didn't have that issue. And so, sometimes when you're defending their actions or Everett's that way, there's sort of a different tone sometimes, especially if I feel like he's getting the short end of the stick,
Yep.
And it's like, I don't feel like you're, giving him the benefit of the doubt, so to speak here, and really he hasn't done anything to prove himself not worthy of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I'm with you. I think you handled it perfectly, and that's exactly what I would have done. And so that was this Monday, and everybody got the ball, and everybody's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, the ball was returned before Tyler got to class that next day. But that being said, makes sense. He gave it to the kid's best friend. One thing I did ask Tyler over the weekend, though, I was like, "Hey," because the teacher made it sound like it's such a big deal. There's this hunt looking for him at the bus line and all this, right? But I was like, "Hey, this kid whose basketball it is that apparently is upset. Like, are you pals with him?" And he's like, not too much." I'm like, he's not like coming to school to beat you up or anything. And he's like, "Oh no, I'm not worried about that."
Yeah. I don't think he has much to worry about. I seen the size of that kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, dude,
but I think he also has that vein that you and I, he's friends with people in band. He's friends with kids in sports. He's friends with kids from the neighborhood. He kind of has friends in all different circles. So
yeah, man. That's definitely a good thing. I think when you have friend groups from all varieties, all walks of school, so to speak, I think it kind of keeps you out of trouble. You can sort of navigate that as to being like, hey, maybe this isn't such a smart thing for me to do this weekend. I'll go do something else.
Yeah, it gives you opportunities, gives you outs of certain things too.
Absolutely. What else is going on? Anything exciting?
I don't know. We've got this Clovis show that we're going to, coming up this weekend, that when the show's over, we were supposed to be going there to see family. We don't have school on Friday, so we were going to be driving there Friday to go see family and stuff that it's close to. But now Tyler has a baseball game that day, so we're not leaving till much later than we anticipated.
Oh, so you were just going to stay?
Yeah, we were going to drive out there, do like a, hotel thing, hang out with them, and then so we'd be there all day Saturday, do the show, and then we drive home Sunday. But we're not going to get there till Saturday now.
Wait, so are you going with us, or are you going?
No, we're all still going because family's going to be there, but we're not leaving now till Friday night after Tyler's baseball game.
Oh, so you're not riding with the band?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Man.
Yeah.
Well,
the four Wisemen are going to be there. My sister's family's going to be there. My mom's going to be there with them. Some of Nick's cousins are going to be there. Like, we got the whole.
They're coming to the show?
Oh yeah.
Well, that's exciting. This is like your Philadelphia for like Rob, when Rob had the most people ever at a show.
It's going to be similar to that. Yeah. It'll be some of the most people that I've ever had.
That's exciting. That's gonna be fun. Well, this changes everything, though. I may need to redo the math because we have an SUV and the van, but Marco isn't riding in the van. You're not riding in the van. So I need to like figure out, do we even need the SUV?
I don't know. I told Dave a while back that I was going to already be there, not riding the van.
Yeah, well, that didn't make it to me. But we'll... I don't know. Maybe
I can get there first and find us a good dressing room.
Maybe it's a comfort thing, you know. But we're going to be there Friday night too.
Oh, okay. Well, then y'all are probably going to be there before me.
I think we're going to beat you there because we're leaving tomorrow afternoon.
Well, yeah, we were going to leave tomorrow afternoon, but now we have a baseball game at 6 p.m. So we're not going to leave till like 8. We're going to drive halfway there, get a hotel, and then drive the rest of the way Saturday.
Yeah, that's a good way. What's halfway there?
There's not really a halfway, but we're going to drive to like Sweetwater.
Oh, interesting. I don't think we do that. We're not going the same way.
Well, we would have gone a different way. The way we're going to go actually only adds like 30 minutes to the trip, but you know, we're leaving at 8 p.m. It's going to be way better highways, better gas stations, better stops, traveling with the family. That's a better move.
Got it. That makes sense. Yeah, it's going to be good. Well, that'd be good to have the kids at a big show. Been a while. What do you think? You think Tyler's overplaying the drums probably during the show?
He'll probably just be sitting there judging me, seeing if I make any mistakes.
Right.
But he's probably too cool for school to come actually on stage. But you know, Mia kind of took over that spot.
Yeah, she's going to be dancing
at the state fair.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. It's going to be good. Well, we got to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about something else. But first, y'all listen to this. We'll be right back with more Rockstar Dad Show. Welcome back to the Rockstar Dad Show. And man, what a time we're having here. My name is Jaret. That's Gary. We're from the band Bowling for Soup. Got lots of stuff happening with our band this year. You know what? So the other day I was somewhere and somebody tried to sort of make fun of me. I guess, you know, I don't know if make fun of me is the right word, but like take a jab at me for my Stanley Cup, you know, not the hockey thing, but the big metal cup with the straw.
That's just such a weird. Okay, I got to figure out. You got to tell me more about who and where, because my mind is just immediately going to like, we're not of the age where people just poke fun for stupid shit like that anymore. Like that's a junior high thing or something.
Yeah,
right?
It's people though. Like people have this whole thing about these Stanley Cups because they're expensive and it's a fad, and because like little kids want them and shit. That, you know, adults aren't supposed to have them, and they're fucking useful as shit, by the way. Like this thing is enormous and holds a bunch of water. Oh no, I know exactly where I was. I was at this recording thing that I was doing for a school in Tarrant County College. And so I went in there the day after we got back from Canada, and we recorded like this little like a little song thing. So they can choose to mix that or one of the other ones that they record for their final for this class. And it's all like super, super 101 shit. Like everything was one take and all of that. But somebody said something about my Stanley Cup. And I said, yeah, I realized that little girls carry these and I have 9 of them. And I'm not embarrassed about that. I enjoy drinking water. And this keeps them very cool, and it's got a fucking handle on it. And I like the straw. And, you know, and so I went into all that, and everybody's sort of like listening to me rant. And then I go, and yeah, I buy these for my kids because this way I don't have to buy them pepper spray, because if anybody ever fucks with them, they just hit them over the top of the head with this fucking thing and knock them out, you know? And everybody, of course, laughed. But, you know, sometimes kids like shit because it's fucking badass.
Yes, it's very useful. And it's not like you're walking around with like a pink Hello Kitty Stanley Cup.
No, I mean, like I had a yellow one that I left somewhere, UK, I think. But no, if my kid wanted one that was like, say, a fad one or whatever, like, I don't know, is that the worst thing to do? Is like buy him the cool Stanley Cup? Like, I don't give a shit if that's going to get him to drink water. I feel like I'm doing the Lord's work here, you know? Like, I'm hydrating my son.
It's weird how like certain things we can rationalize and certain things we can't, right? Because luckily Tyler he still doesn't give a shit about fashion, right? I mean, he just wears whatever the fuck, right? He doesn't care. But I remember a few years ago when like the sock thing took off for like teenage boys, where like now they're wearing like $60 pairs of socks. It's just crazy.
I missed that.
Okay, it was some of my cousins were into that, and I just like, what? I mean, I'm never gonna spend that much on a pair of socks for a teenage kid, you know. And I couldn't rationalize that, but I'm with you. Like, if he wanted a $40-$50 cup, I'd be like, yeah, it's a freaking awesome cup. I totally get that.
Totally. Because again, I think for me, like, as long as my child has shown me that he's not going to lose it, you know, like he has these, you know, Prime was super, see, I would never buy him expensive socks because our kids go outside in just their socks. And it's so fucking puzzling. Like the other day they were playing basketball and all of them just had their shoes off and they were playing in their socks. And I was just like, what a weird thing.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have done that without shoes, but if I took my shoes off as a kid, I'm saying I would have also taken my socks off and just been barefoot.
Same. Yeah. You know, but yeah, I mean, I think, you know, that's the thing is he's been so responsible with his phone, you know, and he's got AirPods. And I really honestly didn't think, you know, at 10 years old, I guess 11, at 11 years old, even AirPods like that, he would be able to keep up with them the way that he has.
We gave Tyler the cheap, you know, the $15 knockoff AirPods for Christmas because we thought for sure he would lose them. And he has not told us that he's lost them, but I haven't seen them for a couple of months. So I'm pretty sure he's lost them and just doesn't want to tell us that he's lost them because he thinks they're like the $250 real ones, you know?
Right.
So I think he's lost them and just hadn't told us that he's lost them. That still being said, I think I could spend 5 minutes and go find him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because, you know, I mean, he's at that age where things are just right in front of him. And he, you know, where's my hat? And it's like, it's on the floor next to your foot. You know, I mean, it's just right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely like I mean, I'll come in from tour and he'll go, "Hey Dad, where's my karate uniform?" And I'm like, "Man, I just got off an airplane. I don't know why you would think I would know where that is." You know, because I'm a retrace your steps guy, right? Like I'm just like, well, where did, and normally that's what I'll do. He'll go, "Where are my shoes?" "Well, you came home last night, you went directly in there and you took a shower. So I assume my bathroom." And you go in there, that's exactly where they were. And I do that all the time. And I do that even to Casey. Like, you know, just, "Oh man, I can't find this." I'm like, "Well, you came in, you went into there and you did this. And then I'm sure you dropped them off on the way. I bet they're over there by the microwave."
Yeah. Or if you don't know where they were, the question is like, where's the last time you remember having it? And then like, well, let's figure it out from there.
Yeah. So we did the, buy him the cheap ones first and he did so good keeping up with them that was a yawn, guys. They stopped working and, you know, just organically stopped working. And so, you know, fuck it. We got him the good ones and he's done real good keeping up with them. So,
now, do you really think they stopped working or did he like jump in the shower with them and like, oh crap, I should have taken those off?
that one of them stopped working and they were like the real cheap ones. Like the ones that you get like at the mall or whatever, you know, at the place in the mall. That like they're next to the really expensive ones, but you know, we bought him the cheap ones and he doesn't give a shit. Like Jack would have never stood for that. Like, man, Jack's so much like me. Like, wait, but those are more expensive. They must be better.
Right.
You know, Everett doesn't give a shit about
I'm
it.
amazed that Jack missed the expensive sock trend.
He might have, he might not have missed that. I just, you got to remember that was child support day. So sure. I was not buying his socks. I don't know. Hold on. I can ask the boss. Hey, did Jack go through like an expensive sock phase? Oh, he did? Oh yeah. She says he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. He what? Oh, he's still in it. Apparently, it's still going. Apparently, he likes expensive socks still. So
No,
she
we're
does-
talking more expensive than Bombas, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's nodding. Yeah, because she does all the. Her and Jack have. He's decided that she's the only person that can buy clothes for him besides himself.
Sure.
So that makes sense.
So you and I jumped off years ago on the Tommy John and the Bombas. We're like, holy shit, these are like the best things in the world, right?
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe you've moved on to different brands.
I have not. Both
Okay.
both exactly the same.
So I jumped off and just like, okay, I'm replacing all my underwear and socks with those two brands because they're the best, right? And Anik was giving me shit because, you know, she's third generation cheap. If it's not a coupon, she doesn't want it. You know, she goes to like the dollar store and buys just horrible socks and they fall apart, and, you know, but she doesn't throw them away. And so I can't remember if it was Valentine's Day or her birthday or something, I got her both some Tommy Johns and some Bombas, and she's like, oh yeah, these are maybe I should just have, you know, I could get rid of some stuff and just have nice things. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Casey likes the Bombas too. And so, you know, Everett has sensory stuff.
Oh yeah.
And so everything is like, he likes certain things, he doesn't like certain things, and that's fine. And I mean, he just got his first pair of Jordans and he wore them one day and he's like, nope. And so we're taking back the Jordans. You know, it's just not for him. But Casey bought him Bombas one time thinking, okay, well, we'll just buy him the best socks you can buy, you know, because we think they're the fucking greatest. And it was an instant, nope, they are hugging my feet too comfortably.
Too much.
You know, like, I don't like it. These things make way too much. Anyway, so he likes this one kind of socks. He has an arsenal of them. He likes this one kind of underwear, which I think he just crossed the line into having to switch to like the next. It's like not kid underwear anymore, you know?
Yeah.
And so he's getting into that whole thing because, you know, that's what happens, right? He's like wearing an adult size shirt now, and you know,
does he tell? I mean, he's good about telling y'all stuff, but will he tell you when he needs like new socks or new underwear or new short? Like, will he actually have the thought process be like, Dad, I need new this?
It's just kind of a constant rotation here because you know, like honestly, what happens is we'll need some for him to go stay with his grandma, and we just grab new ones and take them over there, and then those get into the rotation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that doesn't really ever come up. The other two kids were good about that shit. Like, you know, hey, I need socks or whatever.
Every now and then we like see Tyler wearing a pair of shorts or, you know, something, whatever. Or like he'll take his socks off and, you know, you see like the ring clamping onto his, you know, his foot's compressed from where the sock was, you know?
Yeah.
And every now and then we're like, hey man, do you need new shorts? He's like, yeah, these are way too small. You know, you can just tell us that and we'll replace these things. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh no, that is definitely not Everett. We get back into his ability to communicate there. He will just he'll come up to the top of the stairs and go, these shorts don't fit anymore. And it's like, that's it. Line is drawn at that point, you know, and that's just it. But Casey does a really great job of staying on top of all that because, again, I mean, he just won't wear it if he can't. I mean, it's so. I mean, but it was like this when he was a baby. Like certain clothing it just physically hurt him, you know. And like, I mean, that's a thing. It's a chemical thing, I guess, or whatever it is. But yeah, man, yeah, that kind of stuff's funny. But yeah, shoes are really the big one still to this day. Like that one, like he's back. So those Jordans didn't work, and he's back in these shoes that like he's worn them out so much that like there's no pad left in the bottom of them, and there's a hole in his toes sticking out the top of it and shit. And we're like, hey, we've got to get you new shoes. And he's like, yeah. And then he like wants to wear his cleats. You know, and it used to be hard to get him to wear his cleats. The other day, he was just like, I'll just wear my cleats to the festival. He's like, okay, we're not going to wear your cleats to the festival. And, but yeah, I wasn't weird about that kind of shit. You know, like they just told me that, hey, we have to buy them big and you got to grow into them and you're going to get a blister on your heel. And I'd be like, all right, I
Yeah.
guess these are going to be too big. I'm going to trip over and I'm going to have a blister on my fucking heel. And sure enough, every single time.
Yeah. About the time you wear them out,
Yeah.
that's when they start fitting.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going to keep on wearing them because now they fit.
It's terrible math, right? It's like, why? Wait a minute. I just grew into these and now you're telling me that I need to get new ones because these look shitty. And like, so can't we just, isn't there a way that you just do this and they just fit until they don't? And yeah, the whole growing into them thing. You can grow into them. You need to be able to wear these cleats for at least 3 baseball seasons.
Oh my God.
You know, and you'd be like, oh my, well, I fucking can't, there's no fucking way that's going to happen. I feel like an NFL kicker in these things. They're so tight.
It's so funny though. I mean, you're right. We had things for so long. And they bought them big, grew into them, wore them till you just couldn't anymore. And now we go through, 2 pairs of shoes a season because the kid won't stop growing. But yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing though back then. Is like because you would like, especially football, right? Because you wouldn't play football for 8 months, 6, 7, 8 months, right?
Yeah.
And then you're back on the season or whatever, and you go to put them on, and you're 3 sizes bigger than you were, and you're just trying to cram your foot into them. And like for me, I didn't want to go, hey, these don't fit anymore because, I'm still trying to get the good helmet.
Yeah.
Because back then, you'd buy your own shit. Or you could, I guess, buy your own shit. And
yeah. You could use the really, really shitty one from school, or you could bring your own.
Yeah. I brought my own. I had the good one, the bike helmet. Rydell was the big helmet whenever I was a little kid, and then bike was like the first one that you could pump air into it.
Oh yeah,
it was good. My head was protected as fuck, Gary.
I don't know how you do that. Like you remember songs and you remember names of shit. I remember Rydell. I would have never came up with bike for the helmet.
Oh yeah, brands and shit. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I remember the features though, because I remember, holy shit, so and so has a badass helmet. But
yeah, yeah. That was the those were the days, my friend. But
it was always the kids that like did the boys club football also. And not just the school football. They always had the good shit.
Yeah, that was me. I did that. But but in baseball, like now you have to have your own batter's helmet and all that stuff. And when I was with Little League Baseball, the coach just dumped out this big bag of shit at the first of the game or whatever, and you just alternated the hats and the helmets and the baseballs or the bats and all that shit.
Whenever I was a kid, you brought your baseball glove. Right, the coach brought everything else. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Brought everything else, and now like even catchers have their own shit. It's pretty wild. I'll take some nuggets.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know how I mean that's an expensive thing. Catchers are like the drummer of baseball. Like there's so much shit they have to carry around, and it's expensive and it's heavy, and there's a lot of it.
The catchers, their dad always has to pull a wagon.
Yeah. Well, have you seen now they have these roller bags that most of the catchers have. Yeah. It's like bigger than our suitcase that we travel the world with, but it fits all their gear.
Just puts all that shit in there. They don't have to cram it in there so it stays nice.
Right.
Fucking A. Well, we did it again, Gary. We've made a great show.
Yay.
For the people. Guys, we do have good guests coming up. We have a really good guy coming on soon named Corey Durham, and he is the new voice of Barney. And he started out as this kid that was just this Bowling for Soup fan, and he can do all these voices or whatever, and like fucking made himself a voiceover career. And he's literally the new voice of Barney. So he's going to be on soon. We were trying to get him on for today, but didn't work out schedule-wise. So lots to look forward to here on the program.
Good stuff. That's pretty badass working your way into a voice career with.
Yeah, like a franchise like that too. Yeah. It's pretty wild. And they let him it's not like my other gig where I'm not supposed to really talk about it. He gets to talk about it. That's fine. Whatever. Hey guys, we'll be back next week with more Rockstar Dad Show. Until then, y'all be good.
This is a song for my friends Jaret and Gary. They started a podcast and said a theme was necessary. They're just a couple of guys in a band that you know, some rockstar dads who started a show. Until the next episode.